Some of you have not read your fair share of derivative amateur writing, and it shows. Some of you have not read your fair share of actual AI slop to see what it actually looks like. It shows. Hi, I'm Andrea Max. I'm an author, and I'm a high school English teacher, and I have absolutely read my fair share of derivative amateur writing. I've even written my fair share, and I have certainly read my fair share of AI slop and become quite an expert at detecting AI use in writing. So I would like to debunk some incorrect things that are being said with a lot of confidence on the internet right now. First fact on the ground here is that the only time we can consider anything as evidence of AI use is if there are repeated patterns that are choices that humans are very unlikely to make. AI can repeatedly do things that real humans also do. So if you are seeing those things, they are not necessarily hallmarks of AI, they might be hallmarks of human brain. An example of this is the use of derivative genre names. Anybody who has read the work of derivative style genre authors or more amateur authors is going to recognize frequent use of names that feel really similar to other names used within the genre. Is it true that AI does that as well? Yes, but so do human brains, so it's evidence of nothing. Another thing that human brains do is make consistency errors, especially when you're talking about books in a series. We have copy editors for a reason. Copy editors find inconsistencies and logical mistakes that authors have made in their writing. It takes a lot of work to keep all of the logic straight in a long piece of work. There will occasionally be missed logical inconsistency here or there in a book. It is something human brains do. It is not a sign of AI. Now, a lot of logical inconsistency can be a sign of AI, but I would argue that if there is a series where each of the books, especially if they're ones that you consider relatively poorly written, if they have a somewhat logical flow between them and there's only a few small logical inconsistencies, I would say that's actually a sign that there hasn't been significant AI use, because it is really hard for AI to not make lots of logical inconsistencies. If you have experience with the type of people who rely on AI writing, you will very quickly realize it is often a lot more work and a lot harder to get AI to produce a decent book that is not extremely obviously AI than it would be to just write derivative drivel. You need so much effort to keeping the logical consistencies and the lack of repetition and the other types of mistakes that AI produces when it's dealing with long form content, especially books in a series. You think the author is not that skilled, yet most people don't think their work is AI. That takes a lot of skill to hide AI use in that level of work. And what if that particular logical inconsistency, or anything else in the work for that matter, feels extremely similar to a moment from another book? Could that be an AI artifact pulling from the work that it was trained on? It could be. But you know what else does that? Human brains. We read something, and when we're producing our own work, we often produce echoes that feel really similar. Saying you don't like the writing style of a book because it feels so derivative that it could be AI is a very legitimate criticism. If work feels AI, it could be doing more to differentiate itself and have more unique voice. But that's not a sign that it is AI. Trying to prove it is AI using hallmarks of human writing is going away from legitimate criticism into both unfair accusation and misinformation.